I still remember the sound first. Not the words, not the faces. The sound. Forks stopping mid-air. Chairs creaking as people shifted. That thin, uncomfortable silence that only happens when someone says something they shouldn't have, but says it anyway. I was standing just inside the dining room, hand resting lightly on the back of a chair, when a man in a white chef's coat pointed across the room and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Those seats aren't for you. You need to leave." No hesitation, no embarrassment, just certainty. For a split second, I honestly thought he was joking, the kind of dry humor some chefs think passes for confidence. But then I saw his eyes, cold, measuring, already done with me. People stared. Some pretended not to hear. A couple near the window glanced at my wife, then quickly looked back at their plates like nothing was happening. I felt my chest tighten, not from anger, not yet, but from recognition. I'd felt this before, not once, not twice. Enough times to know exactly what was coming next. My wife squeezed my hand, not to stop me, to steady me. We were 3 weeks married, still learning each other's silences, still glowing in that quiet way newlyweds do, not loud, not flashy, just settled. She wore a simple white dress, nothing extravagant. I was in a dark jacket I'd owned for years, no logos, no signals. Apparently that was the problem. The chef walked closer, lowering his voice just enough to pretend he was being discreet. "We have standards here," he said. "Certain expectations. This table is for our regular clientele." I almost laughed, almost. Instead, I nodded slowly. "Got it," I said. Calm, neutral. American calm, the kind that hides 1,000 thoughts behind one syllable. He gestured toward a cramped table near the kitchen doors. Heat, noise, servers rushing past, the worst seat in the house. "Over there," he said like he was doing us a favor. "Here's the thing people don't understand. Silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's strategy. Sometimes it's patience. Sometimes it's just wanting to see how far someone is willing to go when they think you don't matter." So we sat. Service was polite in the way a door slammed gently is still a door slammed. Water glasses took forever. Our server avoided eye contact. Plates arrived, stripped of the care I saw everywhere else. No garnish, no explanation, no pride. At the next table, a couple laughed as a server described their dish like it was art. I noticed the difference instantly. My wife did too. She always notices. She leaned in and whispered, "Are you seeing this?" I nodded. "Yeah, I'm seeing it." And suddenly it wasn't personal anymore. It was a pattern. I started watching instead of reacting. Who got greeted by name? Who got asked how their day was? Who got rushed? Who got overlooked? It didn't take long. The chef came back hovering. He looked at my wife's untouched wine glass and smiled, not kindly. "Not your taste," he asked. "We can bring something simpler." The word hung there, simpler. That's when the room went quiet again. People felt it. You could tell. Even if they didn't understand why it felt wrong, they felt it. My wife placed her napkin on the table, slow and deliberate. "Are you asking us to leave?" she said. He didn't answer right away. He didn't need to. His face did it for him. "I'm suggesting," he replied, "you might be more comfortable somewhere else." That was it. The line. I stood, pulled her chair out gently, and said, "We'll go." No yelling, no threats, no speeches. As we walked out, I caught a glimpse of him watching us through the glass, satisfied, almost proud, like he'd protected something. Outside, the night air hit different, cooler, cleaner, honest. My wife exhaled, not shaky, focused, that she said wasn't about us. "No," I said, "it never is." We sat in the car for a moment. Then I made a call, not to complain, not to vent, to document. Because here's the part they never see coming. I didn't just eat at that restaurant. I built the company that owned it. Years ago, when no one cared who I was, when the brand was just an idea and a loan and a prayer, I learned something valuable. Systems don't fail loudly. They fail quietly behind smiles and policies and people who think they'll never be questioned. That night I didn't reveal who I was. Not yet. I let the facts walk in first. By the time leadership arrived, calm, suited professional, the chef's confidence had started to crack. Not because anyone raised their voice, because cameras don't lie. Patterns don't lie. Staff stories don't lie when they finally feel safe enough to speak. I walked back into that dining room later, not as a guest this time. The energy had changed. No music, no chatter, just awareness. The chef tried to smile when he saw me. It didn't land. "I didn't know," he said quickly. "If I had known." I cut him off, not sharply, just final. "That's the problem," I said. "You shouldn't need to know." I didn't insult him. I didn't humiliate him. I didn't have to. His authority dissolved anyway, because power doesn't shout. Real power removes access. The restaurant closed early that night. Training followed. Systems changed. People who'd been quiet for years finally spoke. And the chef. He lost the one thing he thought protected him, his narrative. I left again through the front door. Same doors he'd watched me exit before. This time no one spoke. No one needed to. On the drive home, my wife rested her head against the window and smiled softly. "Do you think he learned anything?" she asked. I thought about it for a moment. I think I said he finally saw himself. Here's what I know now. Money doesn't change how people treat you. It reveals how they already wanted to. So I'll ask you this. Have you ever been judged before you spoke, dismissed, before you acted, not because of who you were, but because of what someone assumed? And when the moment came, did you stay quiet, or did you let the truth speak for you? Tell me in the comments.